start with the Acrolite.
As producers, I'm so often working with other musicians, other drummers, and trying to work fast, and I don't get the time to say, okay, let's try 9 snare drums on this song and see which one feels right. Hopefully everyone can learn something from this, because now I have a better understanding of that.
To me, that's like the classic snare drum when I go to play snares that I have. How does it feel to you?
This is the most recorded snare practically. It has such a big range. I'm used to deeper snares, but you can get every tone out of this.
But usually lower for you?
Yeah, everything's a little lower.
We'll just say that for every drum that I pull up there.
I like it though. I mean, it's got great snap to it. A lot of different ranges from dead to wide open. I mean,
I like how dry they are.
Love it.
I feel like that, literally at that tuning could work for anything.
That's really cool. I like that. I need to start tuning my drums up.
I love that one. I don't really have much to say about it. That just is gonna work in some really interesting ways.
You can get a lot once you saturate, compress that. I feel like that starts to become a clap. This was the first track. My coffee was really hitting in it, so I'm a half a beat ahead, but I love that Acrolite.
I love the way that one sounds a lot.
When do you find yourself reaching for a drum like this?
Every time I put it on there, I'm like, oh yeah, this just sounds right. Like instantly, boom, it's there, and I love the way it hits. And it has like the crack of a wood drum kind of, and it's a little drier, but because it's drier, I think the funny thing is I gravitate to drier drums because the ring is still there enough, and I love playing with that ring, you know. I love hitting shallow rim shots, but then some metal drums have so much ring that for me it's actually too much because I'm accentuating that, I think. I like this, especially with the muffler. You can get it like a little tamed really easily and just go from there. It just kind of just works. By the way, all these loops that you're hearing are courtesy of Timbo, and I'll put a link in the description to find those drumless tracks.
This is a pork pie brass, the patina. Interesting size, it's 13 by 7.5.
That's night and day compared to the last one.
I really only play it in super dead tunings, but it really handles that well. I mean, it's huge. So you need to mic the bottom, otherwise it sounds just like a tom from the top. But it does take higher tunings well. I just don't normally go for it because I find that the overtones are just a little much for my taste. I think I'd probably gravitate towards something more like the Acrolite if I was gonna crank it up.
Perfect. It sounds
it's a hand clap.
Yeah,
with,
that's real cool.
Like that deep knock to it.
Yeah, because the brass just gets, like, there's a lot of that tone.
Yeah, I find that a brass snare crank might be better live than in the studio because it's got that projection to it. I mean, they're like stadium rock snares, but in the studio I might want something a little bit more controlled, shallower.
That's my feeling too.
It doesn't, it's like you're hurting it. It doesn't want to give you anything.
It sounds like it's dying. It sounds like it's dying when I play it for the tune I chose.
Yeah.
But the same thing in your track.
So it's a special sound.
Yeah.
When you need it, there's only a couple ways to get that. I'm gonna get a free lesson now. I always trick Dimitri. I'm like, let's hang out, man. It's all good. I subscribe to the Patreon anyway.
Okay, here's the solid drums, which is the 12 by 7. Bumblebee is, I think, what some people were nicknaming it on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good looking drill.
How's that feel to you?
Well, that was so fun. I played for 16 bars. What kind of wood is this?
Maple in the bottom and cherry. It's actually split. The two are actually two different woods.
Just off the bat, I find like more range to it. I know I'm kind of playing a straightforward beat and trying to just do my thing on it, but it really made me want to play around the drum. I just wanted to kind of hit more rim shots and just see if I could get extra tones out of it.
That's my favorite thing about different snare drums is how they make you want to play.
Yeah, this one had me wanting to do more on the snare, more articulations, whereas obviously some of the other snares we've played have just invited you to just kind of smack it.
It sounds to me like it's, and we kind of know this based on the shape of it, it's a little bit more of a specialized sound, like what you could use it for, but it's really good for whatever would work. I can see the waveform looks different when you hit it versus when I hit it. It's probably because I'm hitting it even harder. It looks like the snare hits are choked.
It almost feels lower when you play it, which is cool. It's just that's the way you play it.
That's the one for me, like, I'm really curious how that's going to sit in the mix, like the frequency range that it's going to occupy. For instance, against that track, it has kind of like a higher clap or pitched up 808 snares, almost what I would think. Oh, here's the sugar.
This was popular. We loved this.
It was popular.
Yeah.
What do you think about that one?
Yeah, that's fun. That has all the parts that you want. I mean, that's got the crack. I really just love where it sits. And I'm running every type of sound imaginable on this track now, and I feel like this one may be my favorite so far. But we'll see when we listen back to it.
Listening from here, I kind of feel the same. Like, there's something just right about it.
It has depth to it.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm just hearing it through these, so it'll be interesting to hear it in the control room, but there's depth, but also just lots of tone. Love it.
You can feel it. This is like the wood version of the Acrolite to me, where it just like sounds like it would work really well for anything.
That's killer.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
And I think for me, the thing that I often get when I'm mixing
yeah.
is not enough of the snares.
Okay.
And that has tons. And that's what the Acrolite seem to have too. It's just like not full of tone, just like lots, still enough snap.
I wonder if it's because they're 14x5.
Yeah, I mean, I'm used to playing just big tone boxes.
I wonder if that has something to do with it. I don't really know. I don't build the snares. I just kind of hit them.
You didn't want to stop.
Yeah, no, I don't want to stop playing that one. Ooh, damn.
There's so much in that. I feel like you could choke it.
Yeah.
And you had great open tones, all just from you, which is great.
Something about that's really nice. I like the way that feels, and like, I don't even know what to say, but like, there's something about it that just really works. It has a lot of bite. It feels like it already has a compressor on it, kind of making it crushed a little in a way that's really nice. Oh, yeah, that one just sounds phenomenal. Something about that, holy shit.
That has everything the other drums have, and then a little bit more. I would call that saucy. It already feels almost finished.
I know, that's kind of crazy. It doesn't need anything.
No. Yeah, the other ones you're like, oh, it's good, but, you know, with a little bit of tweaking, it would sit perfect. That's already like, well,
It's Kind of
That sounds like music.
It's already done. This is the Gretsch steel, hammered steel, 14x5.
That one bites.
Yeah.
Wow.
It creates such a different setting.
That just feels classic.
Nice rim shot sound.
Just huge to think about. The way that these snares, you know, I don't think about it enough.
Yeah.
Especially because I just have like a workhorse snare I normally play, but they really do make you play different.
It's a good sounding snare, but it doesn't fit the track at all.
Yeah, and I think that's why I wanted to go through, listen to them soloed, because that's important.
Yeah.
But then in a track, does this work? Because I bet it works for yours.
That's true.
Scoot on over.
So it works there.
Yeah, with the good reverb on that snare, I feel like you could just kind of sit it all back.
That's so interesting. This feels like the Sugar, but even more aggressive.
I feel like this would belong really well in like a pretty high octane rock or metal track. You would just cut. I felt like the Sugar had just a little bit more bottom to it.
Yep, I dig it though. This is a really fun snare to play. Here's the Woodland Percussion. I really like that. What was your feeling playing it?
In current tuning, drier, a little more dead. It still has plenty of overtones to it, but I felt like I actually had like more snare on this one than some of the previous ones. I like it. I think it'll sit well.
Just listening back, it kind of gives me a similar impression as the Sugar. The wood quality that I guess warms it up, it still has a lot of bite to it and cuts in a nice way.
Yeah, warmer than the other metal snares we've been using.
Yeah, because those are so sharp.
So that feels a lot like the Acrolite. It's got that woodiness to it, but it's just not sitting quite the same. It doesn't have that, you were talking about self-compression. Those metal drums seem to have it, but some of the wood ones did.
Yeah, well the Sugar especially. Here's Woodland in my track.
That could work,
It has a nice knock to it. For that
funny,
style.
it makes the track feel warmer. So same track, but if you would put the Gretsch brass on that, it almost felt like a little colder, a little snappier. That one felt a little more earthy.
That's interesting how much it changes the emotional quality of the track. So it's not just about, like, snare drums to me, they make me feel a certain way when they play. Sometimes I'm paying attention to that, and other times, like right now, what matters more is what they make you feel when you hear them back in the song. All right, here's Gretsch Brass. Felt like you were digging that one.
Yeah, I really, I like the warmth of wood snares, but I gravitate towards metal. That's my heart.
Heart of brass.
Yeah. And those wood snares have warmth, but this has that depth to it. It's just like that bottom.
Whew.
Yeah.
Sounds really good.
I feel like that one works for everybody. That's fat, and it's still tuned up. I like that. I'd pick that one if you had between that and the steel.
I agree. It might be a tuning thing.
It so often is, right? We didn't spend any time
Yeah.
tuning for the track.
Whenever I play this snare, I think, wow, that sounds perfect. Like it just has like that kind of like, if you imagine in your head what a snare should sound like when you hit it, it's this guy. Okay, here's A&F Raw Brass. How do you feel about it at that tuning? That's not your thing, but that's your drum.
It's my new drum. Yeah, I'm unused to it at that tuning. I think a little work to try to work out some of those overtones, but it being raw brass, you're gonna end up with just some unwieldy overtones, but it's got the snap that you want at those high tunings with a lot of the depth.
Yeah.
Okay, so we could have tuned it better.
Tuning consistencies aside, the body of the drum sounds really nice.
Yeah. The cool thing about a sound like that, I think, is you can make it sound low and fat, even though it's tuned up so high.
That's what I hear. It has a lot of body. That one feels really good.
More snare-y than the Gretsch. More wires.
It sounds like it has a little more texture and character than Gretsch. My ears, or the way I'm playing it now. The tone of that's really nice.
So we listened to it soloed, and it was a little uneven in the ringiness of it, the overtones, but that was our fault. We didn't tune it quite enough. We didn't spend too much time on it. But in the track, I don't notice that. Damn, that sounds really good.
It does sound really good.
I like it.
Sounds really good. Here's low. The low trick.
I mean, it's working low and it's fat and it's warm, but I feel like that higher tuning actually has everything I want. There are things I would do to get that perfect, but I think doing a quick tuning from high to low and seeing where that sits, we did deaden it just to lose some of that crazy ring, especially with an imperfect tuning like that. And it cuts. It takes a lot for me to admit.
It's funny to hear you say that, but it doesn't sound high when you play. It like sits a certain way. It's real nice.
Feels done.
Yeah, it does like sound close to finished. The sugar and this have been the closest to that. So this is A&F Raw Steel. What do you think of that compared to the brass?
I mean, totally different drum.
It is totally different.
At this tuning, this also has an internal mute.
Yeah, that's true. It's on.
That's engaged, and so it just is tighter.
Pick it up and turn the whole drum over.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's cool. Wow. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that comes in handy. It adds a little extra snare sound, but the nice thing is that it also muffles the top.
That way, like, it's just not pure tone when you're micing the top, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like... Even at a high tuning, the brass snare was not as responsive. I mean, the size of it. Yeah, just the sheer size of it. This feels like it's tight. So this one, fun to play.
Yeah.
But I feel like it doesn't have that. It sounds like it would take a little bit of work to get it into the track, as opposed to the sugar and the acrolite.
And honestly, it didn't seem to fit the way you
oh, that's me too, yeah.
It fit the way you wanted to play it. I think also for the track we chose. This is me playing it. See, now it kind of makes more sense. I don't know. Again, like I said before, it's kind of set up for me and what I want to pull out of it. I also know it pretty well by now. That sounds real good.
Yeah.
Let's say that sounds really good. Just is instantly the most fun so far. It's partly because I have it set up for me and tuned the way that makes sense for how I play. Like, I just want to play that thing now. If you had to pick one of these to use live, what would be your first choice?
I think you know what I'll say. For studio or live right now, I'm between the A&F and the Sugar. Two very different drums, but they felt so similar.
They had texture that you're talking about. They had tone.
That's the thing, right? It's like both of those could be pushed to be more aggressive, have a little more bark or bite, but also if you needed to EQ a little bit of that out or hit it harder on the front end with compression to kind of soften those transients, you could get a super kind of mellow sound out of that same tuning and those same hits.
The Acrolite was good too, but
Acrolite's a standby. You can't go wrong with the Acrolite. You'll never ruin a song if you put an Acrolite on it. But I'm just shocked because that just means there really is no like one answer. That both of those drums sounded so similar, and yet are so different. It's like there's no end to the debate of wood or metal.
Well, damn.
What's your favorite?